The business of business is people, yesterday, today, and forever. And as among employees, shareholders, and customers, we decided that our internal customers, our employees, came first. The synergy, in our opinion, is simple. Honor, respect, care for, protect, and reward your employees, regardless of title or position. And in turn, they will treat each other and their external customers in a warm, in a caring, and in a hospitable way. This causes external customers to return, thus bringing joy to shareholders. We believe that our job is not only to provide a far more reliable service at far lower fares, but also to provide a spiritual infusion, an infusion of fun, warmth, hospitality, and diligent servanthood for both employees and our passengers. The intangibles of spirit, in our view, are more important than the tangibles of things. Why? First of all, it's a matter of morality and of ethics. But secondly, from a purely business standpoint, the tangibles can always be purchased. All airlines have airplanes. But the intangibles are far more difficult for competitors to replicate. And unless a company's paying peonage compensation, psychic satisfaction is what employees and even external customers are primarily seeking. If anyone doubts the value of esprit de corps, I suggest to talk with the United States Marine Corps. Esprit gets things done well and fast. Communicate, 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 and communicate, but not in corporate speak or bureaucraties, which is not only boring, but hardly understandable. Set up employee services and employee care departments, which are constantly in contact with employees who have any professional or personal problems. Show that you value your employees as individuals, not just as workers. Through word and by deed, join in their every personal exaltation, such as the birth of a baby, and their every personal mishap and grief, such as the death of a relative. You always hear from us when anything important happens in your life. As a business becomes larger and more widespread geographically, establish culture committees. Establish culture committees, in effect, as missionaries to spread the word and keep the fire of culture burning. And constantly honor and constantly celebrate employees who display golden rule behavior, inside or outside the work environment, because they're the role models for all of your people and how you want them to behave. Culture is admittedly difficult to define. I suppose, in that respect, it's somewhat akin to the Supreme Court's definition of pornography. You know it when you see it, but it's kind of hard to define. And I ran into that when Diane von Furstenberg wrote me some years ago and said that she had flown on Southwest Airlines and that she really didn't like our ambiance. And I wrote back to her and said, I didn't know what ambiance meant. I was just damn glad to hear that we had one. But even though it's definitionally elusive, that does not diminish the significance and the power of culture. And former Governor Earl Long of Louisiana brought that home very forcibly to me. The doyen, one of the doyens of New Orleans society, wanted some money to establish a museum in New Orleans. And she called Governor Long and she said, Governor, you cannot have a world-class city unless you have a world-class museum. And he said, well, ma'am, I've been fighting this battle for you for the last day and a half with my staff. Said they wanted to spend the money on schools. I told them no. They wanted to spend the money on hospitals. I told them no. They wanted to spend the money on roads. I told him no. And he said, you know, when I finally prevailed, he said, when I told him, look guys, if you ain't got culture, you ain't got shit.